Criminal masterminds of Reddit, what is the worst crime you've gotten away with? If I had committed some sort of crime, I got away with it by not telling anyone. Smoked pot while downloading a movie, all while drinking a beer within view of my open window. Also, I pee outside sometimes when it's dark and no one's around. I stole almost 80 lawn gnomes in 1 week. I once broke someone's jaw in a drunken fight. The sound that it made still haunts me till this day. I fled the scene and have never faced any legal consequences. However, I did see a grainy CCTV photo of myself in the paper the next week. I'm in no way proud of what I done or getting away with it, but you can't change the past. I once stole $16 and change over the course of 2 weeks to pay for a RuneScape membership. Not a major crime, but it's interesting to me. When I was 18, 32 now, I got arrested for shoplifting at a hardware store. I was into drugs, broke, needed money, so I was taking things to return later for cash. They let you do that at the time without a receipt. I got caught stuffing items behind my belt by an off-duty cop who was in the aisle next to me looking through the cracks. As I walked out of the store, security nabbed me and more cops came. Cops had me standing with my hands on a table by the main entrance while they talked to the manager. They had already discovered about $40 worth of items I had taken. But when they were asking me to unload the items, I unloaded all but one, a $200 thermostat or something. Anyway, as I was standing there at the table with the whole store watching me from behind, I very discreetly reached over and pulled it out of my belt, stuck it between my thighs, and wiggled it slowly down my legs all the way to my feet and kicked it off to the side. Somehow, nobody saw it. That little feat was the difference between a Class C misdemeanor, theft under $50, and a Class B, a difference of about $2,000 in fines and up to 6 months of jail time, not to mention lawyer fees. Spent a few hours in city jail, got bailed out by my girlfriend, and it never went on my record. I was about 7 years old and had my first pocket knife. I got this knife from my grandpa. This however got nothing to do with the story. While me and my best friend Karen at that time were outside playing in the early winter in northern Germany. It gets dark at around 5 to 6 PM and we were still outside, since we had holidays. However, we were so bored and decided to do something. I am the mastermind of our criminal duo wanted to do some bad things. Karen was just the really cute girl and my best friend at that time. So we went around the block to the pub where all the bicycles stand outside while the owners of the bicycles are inside the pub drinking. I take out my pocket knife and put it into the first tire of the bicyclical PFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFF me and run. We ran as fast as we could. To this day I think it's in the top 3 of the unsolved mysteries in Germany. The tire slash from 1996. I once stole $30 worth of candy at an amusement park. It was the best Snickers bar I've ever had. More than criminal masterminds of Reddit. What are some silly petty crimes you've gotten away with that you can admit to without any repercussions? FTFY. I had a high school teacher who boasted about always catching students when they tried to toilet paper or vandalize his house. I succeeded in coating his entire front lawn with driveway sealer. In 1977 I stole a pack of fruit stripe gum while at the grocery store with my mother. When my mother saw me with it in the car on my way home, I obscured my crime by claiming I found it in the basket we used for our gloves and mittens in my kindergarten class. What a fool. She was no match for my diabolical wit. Me and 3 buddies were pulling a senior prank in high school. We snuck out to the parking lot and were removing all of the license plates from the underclassmen and administrators' cars. Our plan was to take everybody's license plate off except for seniors and throw them all in a pile at the front of the lot. We were doing pretty well when one of the basketball coaches happens to walk out and see heads bobbing between cars. I heard him scream and I dove under a truck. All 3 of my buddies got caught and had to spend 2 weeks in alternative school while I got away scot-free. That was the beginning and end of my criminal career. This one is a little bigger than the stole packs of gum posts. Am I proud I got away with it? A little. Yeah. Would I have been duck-eedy had I been caught? Yeah. I was enrolled at a university and worked for them as well. A benefit of employment was they paid my tuition. Everything was great for about a year and a half. Then boom, the area I worked in at the university was bought by an outside organization. Lucky for me, the school agreed to grandfather me in and continue to offer me free tuition. However, the paperwork had to be done differently. Instead of just applying tuition costs to the accounting books for an employee, they now had to have the school bill invoice the tuition to me. I would submit the invoice to administration and they would cut me a check, and then I used the check to pay the bill. Well, before a spring semester I decided that I wanted to pursue something that would not allow me to continue my education for some time. So I took it off. At the same time I was living by myself and finances were really tight. Got into some major CC debt. So I concocted a plan to forge an old fall invoice from my school. The school's invoice was very basic because they created it specifically for the employee students in my department. Simple Word doc. I simply changed the dates and submitted it. A few weeks later I have a check from the school for $3,000. Instead of using it to pay the university for classes that I never took, I used it to live on for the next few months. Over the last 3 years, I've made about $30,000 blackmailing pedophiles who approach children in online chat rooms. Ducks given 0. Edit typo over figure. Bought a PS Plus code from Amazon, but asked for a refund because I couldn't redeem it. The nice Amazon lady said, "We probably can't do that, sir. Maybe." Finally got the code working with a new account. Got the refund on the next business day. I am sorry. I forgot. I once put Polona all over the car of a woman my dad was having an affair with, which my mom and sister asked me to do. Later that week my mom and dad went to her house to confront the lady that this affair had to be over and that he needed to choose who he wanted to be with. Somehow, my dad got pissed over there and left them both at her house, so my dad's mistress had to drive my mom home in the polka dot Polona station wagon. I steal towels every time I go to Lifetime Fitness. Probably 2 towels every time I go. So far I have about 52 towels. I have no need for any of them. I just like having extra towels. Also in high school I would take $5 from the school store register when I worked there. I used to work in at a Target where I would eat and take pies all day long. I'm a klepto and I have a problem. One time I told someone on RuneScape I'd trim his rune armor. Bam, made 250k right there. I inhaled some plants or whatever, then I exhaled. My husband uses his pocket knife to cut the big stalks off broccoli in the store, so he only pays for the bit we eat. And I let him, so I guess I'm an accessory. I hit a drug dealer with my friend's car. So this seems like the least illicit crime ever. But let me get one thing straight. My high school is one giant cauldron of Nazi teachers and shoe-licking teachers' pets who report everything and anything. Everyone is super frugal, cause we are as broke as the back of that mountain. It's so bad here that the prime minister wasn't allowed into part of our school building because the tiles frequently fall out of the roof. And there's an ass ton of asbestos up there. My best friend and I have become notoriously good thieves of dart paper. We never get given any. But in the teacher's printer room there's massive reams of the stuff. We've perfected this little dance where one person distracts the teacher and the other does a sort of spin, grab and retreat movement behind their back and makes off with the paper, soon to be followed by the other and met at a predetermined meeting spot. We are yet to be caught and we've stolen close to 70 reams of paper over the last 2 years, along with a few more valuable things. TLDR, my friend and I stole paper from Nazis in an asbestos-ridden hellhole. When I was 12 I walked into a large Target-like store with my brother, grabbed the nicest bike we could find, walked it up to customer service counter, and asked to return the bike my brother got for his birthday. They asked if we had a receipt, to which we replied no. They apologized and said we needed to go home and get the receipt before we could return it. We asked if we were going to be able to leave the store with the bike if we didn't have a receipt. In response they called security over to escort us safely out with the bike. It was too easy. I broke into Tiffany's at midnight. Did I go for the vault? No, I went for the chandelier. It's priceless. As I'm taking it down, a woman catches me. She told me to stop. It's her father's business. She was Tiffany. I said no. We made love all night. In the morning, The cops came and I escaped in one of their uniforms. I told her to meet me in Mexico, but I go to Canada. I didn't trust her. Besides, I like the cold. 30 years later, I got a postcard. I have a son and he's the chief of police. This is where the story got interesting. I told Tiffany to meet me in Paris by the Trocadero. She's been waiting for me all these years. She'd never taken another lover. I didn't care. I didn't show up. I went to Berlin. That's where I stashed the chandelier. It's still in the planning phase. I'll let you know how it goes. OP screwed up by not putting "serious" in the title. 11 years ago I stole a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards from a Walmart. To this day I've regretted it and have never stolen anything else. Sometimes I want to go return the cards but I'm afraid the people would think I'm stupid or something. Found some mushrooms in my backyard and sold them to some lady and her daughter as shrooms. I stole a balloon on Free Balloon Day. Well, the 5YO. He has stolen a kiss from the prettiest 4YO girl in kindergarten. 2 of my henchmen, also 5YO, helped me with the intimidation. I once stepped on the grass even though the sign clearly said not to. It was nearly 2 years ago and I still live in fear of my door being kicked down at 6 AM and being pulled out of my bed by a SWAT squad. I stole a basketball from the playground in the 1st grade and I killed a guy once. I've stolen billions of dollars worth of movies over my internet connection using Hollywood and MPAA accounting. I once broke into a school during the summer and took a writ on a classroom floor. My most heinous crime was my most heinous crime. Stole a car and sold it for some drugs.